Hey there, McAllister with Toasty DIY. Gonna show you real quick how I go through and clean a Mars, a resin printer, after a failed print, how to make sure you get all the stuff off the FEP and off the build plate. So I'll show you that real quick. A quick disclaimer, I don't have a set of the nitrile, the little blue gloves. I lost a lot of my printing stuff when I moved. So I'm gonna do it without that. I promise I'm gonna wash my hands really well after, and I'm gonna be wearing a mask to prevent that. Resin is poisonous, as most people know. No one really knows the long-term effects as far as I've looked up. I've not seen anybody talk about them, but trying to avoid that. So wear gloves if you have them, wear a mask if you have one, a respirator, whatever you got, and let's just go through this, all right? Step one's pretty obvious. Remove the UV screen, and let's take a look at what we got here. So you see I was trying to print miniatures and it failed everything past the support level. So what I have left are these little supports left on the build plate. And then down there in the resin somewhere, there's gonna be what was supposed to print on here. It's gonna be stuck down there. So first thing we're gonna do is remove the build plate, and we're gonna take it into a bathroom and try to scrape off these little bits. I've got the build plate in here. I'm gonna take a scraper and just come at it to try to knock all these off. You just have to be careful. They give you a scraper in the box with almost every single 3D printer that you could buy. Mine's missing at the moment, so I'll be using an ID. So it may take me a little bit longer than it might, but I usually recommend going for a corner and then get under there and peel from there. Once they're all off, you'll have a clean build plate. I like to take a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber cloth and wipe this down, or paper towel first, then I use microfiber for the final clean, and let it dry, because I'm gonna re-level the bed after this. All right, next thing's gonna be take off your bath here, your little goo pit. Do that by just unscrewing these two little bits. Once they're off, we can pull this thing out. So in most cases, I take the resin and pour it back into the container. I just happen to get a whole thing of new resin. So this is my old one, this is my new resin. I'm worried I might have some particulates kind of floating around, like that little spot there gives me worry. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of all of this resin. But typically you can take some of it and try to pour it back in. Though to ensure that I'm not having any problems, since I got these to successfully print, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this whole thing, make sure nothing's floating around in that resin. But all you do is just give it a little bit of push and you'll get it to come right out. And I'll take this to the bathroom. So now that I've got these, mostly emptied out, what I'll do is I'll press on the backside. And you'll see these things kind of lift up on the backside of the FEP, and then you take a scraper underneath that and pull that out. Now that these are both cleaned out, I'm gonna go ahead and take a microfiber cloth, and I'm going to first paper towel and get a lot of this stuff out of here. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna take isopropyl alcohol, put it on this, and wipe everything down one last time. And then I will refill the bath and get my print started again.